Yeah, you didn't show me what I look like in this video.
That's because I haven't drawn it yet.
This sucks. This sucks, dude. This sucks ass. I'm backing out.
I can draw you as anything right now, actually.
Yeah. Better draw me as a fucking badass. And you also have to give me a Yorha blindfold.
Hey, welcome back to Japanophiles. I'm here with my good friend Noah, and we're going to be looking back at Nier Automata. Now, 1 year and 1 week later?
Yeah, 1 year and 1 week later. That's how long it's been.
It's funny to think about it. It
doesn't seem like it's been that long. Actually,
yeah.
I think this is something I'll say about it. It doesn't seem like it's been that long because Nier has been on my brain every day since I played it. Like it has been a part of my life in a way. It's weird to think about it like that. Like I was looking at Game of the Year shit for when it came out a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, it's on these lists.
Exactly.
Weird.
You're like, oh yeah, that was last year.
Like you could have asked me, like in my brain, Nier Automata came out a month ago.
It feels that way for me too. I literally, when I went to replay it for the purposes of doing this, it was weirdly nostalgic.
Yeah, you boot it up, and the song from the Breakfast Club comes up.
Yeah, it was "Don't You Forget About Me," and it had to be.
Don't you forget about me.
But it was weirdly nostalgic because I played it last year. It wasn't like I played it a whole fucking decade ago. It was like, oh, yeah, last year. So let's get into it then.
Don't ask me like general questions like, hey, Noah, describe Nier, because I'm not going to be able to do that.
So, Noah, describe Nier.
Nier, this is something I was thinking about on the bus earlier. I think like one of the best comparisons, maybe not comparisons, but something that exists in a very similar spot to Nier is Metal Gear Solid 2. Whereas Metal Gear Solid 2 is an inherently more like, I don't want to say innately political, because Nier is also an inherently political story. Like Karl Marx shows up in this game, and he's a robot. And not only is he a robot, he's a giant autonomous factory. And Hegel is there too. He's a slightly smaller factory.
Don't hegel my schmeggles.
Kierkegaard's there, and like all this shit is there that like is not just name drops, is very clearly just Yoko Taro's own personal views on different types of Western philosophers and their works. There's a part in Nier where he, in Automata rather, where he just outright goes like, yeah, I think Nietzsche's a fucking shithead who made
I love that. I absolutely love that scene of Pascal just reading the book and going like, oh, these ideas are intriguing, but maybe this guy's just fucking retarded.
Yeah, just straight up like this. What if this guy is actually a dumbass?
It's perfect.
That's what separates Nier Automata from what like BioShock Infinite, where like BioShock Infinite would just like name drop like fucking, I don't know, Ayn Rand or whatever, or just someone who exists and go, makes you think. Nier at least has the balls to like follow through and have the director say like, no, this guy is actually stupid and his ideology does not make sense and is incompatible with not only our current way of living, but my future alien robot dystopia representation of modern living. Hey, guess there's a part in this game where Yoko Taro just goes, capitalism does not make sense in this world, because it doesn't. It barely makes sense in our world. It barely made sense in the world of 10,000 years ago. And it damn well won't make sense now. That's something that I realize I'm kind of rambling off my original point.
Yeah, no, this is a good start.
Like,
getting right into it.
Here's the thing, is that Nier Automata is such a cohesive view of the world that Yoko Taro has. Every opinion that is voiced in Nier Automata, or also Nier, but mostly Automata, I will say.
I think we should specify that we are going to be talking about Automata, and we're not going to make any dumb auto-tomatata jokes.
It's not a hard name to pronounce. I don't know why that joke is a thing.
So yeah, we're talking about Nier Automata, and then we're not talking about. Well, you can go into Nier and Drakengard, but I don't really have the authority to talk on either.
Yeah, I'll stick to Automata, except for one specific one I wanted to make about the Taro-verse, which is a retarded thing to call it, but I don't know what else I can describe it as.
You got a lazy verse, you got a Taro-verse.
Taro-verse is better than lazy verse. Gonna get controversial here for a second. Everything in Nier Automata is the vision of Yoko Taro, and it is very, 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 very rare, I think, in games or game storytelling outside of like Metal Gear. Metal Gear's like I think a good example. Kojima like he had a firm grip on what those games were and what they were going to represent, aside from like the skateboarding mission in NVS.
No, the skateboarding was definitely definitely the highlight of it. But they're both very auteur games. They're games that have that touch by a director.
The big thing that I think is so incredible about Nier is that like you can just play it and play a side quest and go, this is how Yoko Taro was feeling today. This is how he was feeling at this point. Oh my god,
that bug searching side quest.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that was one of my favorite ones.
Oh, every side quest is one of my favorite ones. Except for Combat Trials. Combat Trials was important but bad.
The escort ones could be a little bit tedious too.
I like Dojo one a lot, like the karate guy who's like, hey, I have secret knowledge, but beat me up first and pay me money.
Yeah.
That felt like a fucking Futurama episode. It was ridiculous.
So we begin with Route A, which is our very basic, very gamey route.
Route A is very interesting because I'm going to call someone out. I've got a certain friend who only played through Route A and thought the game was over and was disappointed at the ending. Jeff, you are an idiot. You are an idiot that you not only did not continue, that you ardently refused to, and that you could not understand what was happening.
I think anybody would be disappointed with the ending if it just ended at A.
If Nier Automata was Route A, I would not like Nier Automata. But I love Nier Automata, and it is not Route, like the game keeps going.
I think even with just Route A, I would still like it, but Route A just leaves you off so clearly with like a, okay.
Here's the thing. Adam and Eve are not good villains because they are more interesting as the redeemed protagonists they become by the end of that game, as you understand what they are, who they are, how they came to be, and how it's all going to happen again.
But I mean, Route A is mainly just there for the setup.
I pitched it to someone as like, yeah, Route A and B are like recon, Route C is the war, Route D and E are post-war. You can kind of break up the game very loosely if you ascribe to that metric, which I think if you were trying to get somebody into like invested in it, it is a decent way of breaking it down.
I think you could even say that Route B is the point at which the game really begins, almost.
Yeah.
Because
real shit. I don't understand people who don't like Route B. It's a little tiresome. I will concede.
I think it's all from the very beginning. The very start of Route B, after you do the fucking factory intro level, right? Mm-hmm. After all of that, you start to realize that there's at least 2 or 3 major points where it's just the exact same thing that you've played before.
It's also 5 or 6 hours about. Like,
it's not long. Yeah. And
you've done, like if you're playing the game right, you've done all the side quests that matter up to that point. You know, you've done everything aside. You don't have to do any side quests. It's 9S. Like I was talking to people who played it and like did all the same side quests again, and it's like, I don't even know what to tell you. You're just retarded. You just shouldn't be playing this game because you have like outlined that you are too stupid to be trusted with a controller.
When Route B started to really feel tiresome for me, it immediately shifted over. That there's that split in the story.
After that text conversation.
Yeah, it completely changes after that. And I mean,
you want to
end at the same place.
Nier Automata does not start as a game until the dialogue prompt, "You want to fuck 2B, don't you?" pops up on screen. That is when that game comes into its own.
I mean, that's when the game began for most of us.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it began spiritually.
Yeah. Quick question.
Quick answer.
Yeah, quick answer, please. If you had the hacking mini game on your phone, would you do anything else?
We would need more maps. I think that's the only criticism I have of the hacking mini game, really, is that there needs to be more hacking maps. Because it's just Geometry Wars, and I like Geometry Wars pretty well. Also, the music is fucking incredible.
How it shifts in.
The first time that happened blew my mind.
Yeah, it's great. But I mean, that hacking mini game is almost. I have this theory that Yoko Taro, made his own Geometry Wars clone, right?
Yeah.
And then was like, okay, this is the sequel to Nier, and Platinum was like, well, don't you want to put a game around this? This is kind of small.
Yeah, this is like if you look at the kind of things he was saying about like, I want to make a phone game in the Nier universe. That is not unlikely. It is obviously not how it came to be, but that is not an unlikely theory.
He just handed them the hacking mini game, and Platinum was like, okay, I guess we can make a game around this.
I was going to make a point about Metal Gear Solid 2 earlier that I will elucidate before I lose it entirely. The Nier and Metal Gear Solid 2, I think, are games that exist in the same sphere, in modern subversion. Now, as somebody who 2 years ago got into a very heated argument about postmodernism despite not understanding it, I can now say, as someone who's been into 2 college classes that spoke about the subject, that I now understand postmodernism and would say that Nier is perhaps the ultimate postmodern game. What it does breaks every single rule. Game design follows film theory in a lot of critical ways. You have like rising action, you need basic plot structure. Nier does not follow a basic plot structure. This much is known.
No.
Because it makes you, it does not at all. Devotes itself to subverting every single one of your expectations time and time and time and time again. It does not follow any rules. It takes the rules of not only game design, but of just writing in general and just throws it out the fucking window to make its own cohesive thing. Nier does not work as anything other than a video game. You cannot write Nier Automata as a book. Metal Gear Solid 2 has a canceled novel adaptation.
That would be fucking horrible.
Bad, definitely bad. But the fact that you can make a novel, you can sum up the events of Metal Gear Solid 2.
I mean, this is a completely different topic, but I think after a certain point that just becomes impossible in MGS2. I
think you can pretty adequately.
How do you do fish and mail in a book? How do you trick the player into thinking that you just died when you actually have to play in a smaller screen?
There's like an Ursula Le Guin book that I think did something like that.
We're gonna have all of YouTube out searching for this Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, if you're gonna be like, yeah, this second chapter of the third Earthsea book, I'll have you know, as a literary device, did in fact use this. Gonna call on the immense Ursula Le Guin fan club that I know you've cultivated with this channel.
Yeah. All I have to do is review Tales from Earthsea, and then it's a Japan-focused channel.
Naturally, but like my point is, like Nier does not work as anything but a game.
Yeah, that much is true. One of the greatest moments of that, of just like this wouldn't translate into anything else, is essentially the final boss fight. Boss fight where you switch between 9S and A2.
That also kicked ass.
Yeah, but not just kicked ass. It is definitely a moment. I mean, the ending also, I think we'll get into that even more in a little bit, but it is a moment that you can't replicate in any other sort of narrative. Just the way that you switch between them and the way that the fight seamlessly continues.
The music crescendos at each switch.
The only time I've seen a final boss fight switch between 2 characters like that was in the classic Sonic Adventure 2, where you switch between Shadow the Hedgehog and
I'm gonna say
Sonic the
something
Hedgehog,
really controversial.
And I cried.
I'm gonna say something really, really controversial. I think Nier Automata might be a better game than Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
That is unproven, untested, and you'll be hearing from my lawyers.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that many games are better than Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Not many, just a few.
Just if that's right. Kane and Lynch 2, Army of 2, Call of Juarez, the trifecta.
Yep, the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity of better than Sonic Adventure 2.
Most people don't know this, but Kane and Lynch actually does take place in the Taro-verse.
Oh, okay.
They're both Square Enix games.
Yeah, that makes sense. They both take place at.
I want to say there's actually a Nier reference in Kane and Lynch 2.
There's not. There isn't.
No. One of the DLC packs for Kane and Lynch 2 has like a map that's in like a game store with a bunch of upcoming like Square Enix games.
Oh God.
If anyone wants to make a deep dive in Kane and Lynch 2 to prove me wrong, please do.
I'm surprised at how much Nier Automata was like advertised by Square just for being
I thought
a sequel.
I thought you were going to say inspired by the classic Kane and Lynch series.
Yeah. But no, just for being a sequel to a game that's not really like, I mean, it's fondly remembered, but it wasn't really critically received well. Not a whole lot.
It wasn't even initially received well by most of the people who played it.
Yeah. So just like we went to PAX last week and they had a fucking photo booth where you could take a picture with a GIF of Yoko Taro.
So here's what I think did it. I think Yoko Taro as a person is intrinsically more appealing to more people than Nier is necessarily. Because he's a weird, funny, crazy alien robot Marxist. There's something about that you don't get from other game designers. Shit, Square Enix is something people hadn't seen before.
We talked a little bit about Nier subverting things. There was one twist that I saw coming a mile away, and I want to ask you about. It's towards the end of Route B. The humans are dead, aliens are dead. This war has been going.
So here's the thing. everybody knew that the humans were dead. Everybody who played that game.
I think anybody that like starts in 2 seconds into that game can figure it out.
They put 2 and 2 together. Nobody. And if you are listening to this right now and you're saying you're gonna write in the comments, I called it. I called the Gestalt program was going to happen. You are a fucking liar. You are a fucking liar because it takes that twist and it fucking bends it and twists it. It is the most original apocalypse.
Well, the real question is how many people actually not only found the files for the Gestalt program, but
who walked around the big empty room,
but then also like had played Nier beforehand in order to put both of those together.
Yeah. Like humans are dead is very different from not only did humans die, but it didn't matter that humans died, and the real tragedy is that what the humans left after died, after they became their own culture, right?
Yeah, so that gets a little bit into the greater lore of the Taro-verse, which you're more knowledgeable about.
Barely. I've played all those games, dude. I can't even begin to tell you about, like, a mutual friend talked about Muv-Luv in a way where it was like, Muv-Luv is a galactic, universal, timeline spanning, insane masterpiece of fiction, which I would also characterize the red eye disease from Dragon Guard 1 is in this game. You might be able to see the remnants of Cathedral City from Dragon Guard 3. Time might have broken and the universe might have been reshaped dramatically at some point. This is all a linear continuation from Dragon Guard 1, a game that has that's like setting starts off with what if the Holy Roman Empire never existed? But like that's how deep this shit goes, man. Is it Yoko Taro just like was fucking around with history one day and was like, what if Charlemagne was a dragon? What if the future came back to the past and made the Roman Empire cyborgs who turned into knights and time traveled and were music wizards and shit like that? Like, it is the most insane creative. What I'm saying right now does not adequately sum up the events of Dragon Guard or the setting even remotely. According to Yoko Taro, Dragon Guard 1 and 3 happened in our world. The history outlined in those games happened now and we can't remember. And Nier and Dragon Guard will happen. We just can't see it. That is the level of like devotion to that saga. I'm getting sweaty from talking about Dragon Guard again.
So let's shift gears. Let's talk about the intro to Route C/D.
Oh, where they get the fucking Kerberos armor?
Yeah, aka the fuck
go to
your
war?
ha.
Yeah. So one of the things I do love about that is it replicates a scene you hear described in like the stage plays, which are like the other 14 landings that Yorha had to make at different points. Like at one point in the Machine Wars, I want to say it's the 3rd or the 4th, was actually just a reenactment of World War II between presumably ideologically driven fascist machines and the Allies composed of various resistance group and Yorha. Like Operation Pearl Harbor, which was an attack on machine network aircraft carriers carried out by Yorha, is where A2 lost hope in Yorha. Take that as a political statement as well as a fact that like Yoko Taro knows his history and gives a fuck.
The text adventure, you know, the visual novel sort of
thing
that you go through. So fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one you get for both of the twins, Apala and Debola.
Every time that it shifted into that, it's ironic because it's like, oh, it's this action RPG.
Yeah, but I'm waiting with bated breath for the next text adventure segment.
Yeah, and you're like, oh shit, this is where the real shit goes down.
I want to find out why Popula and Debola are afraid of the sand.
I would read a whole visual novel done in that style, even like without characters, if Yoko Taro was in charge of it. In Route C and D, we see 9S mentally
the 9S's long march to the tower where he breaks.
Oh yeah,
I like Flesh Box, God Box, Soul Box, and he is more broken.
Well, I think that's so interesting is just seeing him go from like the basically Robin to 2B's Batman and then completely mentally broken.
Yeah, it turns into the fucking Joker by the end of it.
Yeah, basically. Nier Automata is basically Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
No, he turns into that weird fucking Joker thing from the Dark Knight Rises sequel.
The Dark Knight Rises sequel?
The Dark Knight Strikes Again, that weird fucking Joker thing.
Oh, you mean the Dark Knight Returns sequel?
Yes. He turns into that Joker, who's like a weird goblin.
That
man.
one that used to be Robin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's also that. Yeah. This works better than I thought.
But one of the more impactful scenes, and the scene that really sets off like Route C and D, because like before that, it's there's basically an interlude, right? And that interlude is the Kerberos saga Yorha.
Yeah.
And the whole fall of Yorha. But then we get to 2B's death.
I don't think anybody actually really thought that the waifu bait cover girl was going to die.
No,
Or if she was going to die, about halfway through the game.
I honestly thought when they killed her that it was going to be a temporary thing.
Yeah.
That after a certain
Hello,
point,
I'm 2B and I'm back now. I'm back from
after a certain point.
2B's back from the dead?
2B would get a new body and you would be able to switch freely between 2B, 9S, and A2. What I didn't realize was that A2 is basically just inherited character.
Yeah.
Like 9S is your hacking minigame focused character and 2B is your action focused character, and then A2 just nicely slides in with like one extra mechanic that 2B didn't have.
Yeah, limit break.
Yeah, and just easily, like all of the chips that I had assigned to 2B, I realized that I didn't need to make a whole new chip outline for A2 because I basically could just use 2B's.
Real subtle shit, I don't know if you caught on to. A2 is dramatically stronger than 2B, like ridiculously so, because of the twist of what 2B actually is.
You want to get into that now?
This is another example of Yoko Taro using mechanics to like tell a story in a way that I think works like awesome.
Because you have that side quest, right?
Yeah.
That starts to that basically introduces the idea, and it's completely missable.
Like androids who know too much and are a problem.
Yeah, it's completely missable if you're not like actively looking for side quests to do and stuff.
I missed it the first time. I played through the game technically 10 times.
And you're like 2E, what the fuck?
Executioner. Here's the thing. This blew my mind. Is that A2 is so much stronger than 2B because 2B is not even a repurposed unit. She's still just a regular execution unit. And the mechanics reflect that. Route C is easier when you play as A2 and Route A is harder when you play as 2B because 2B is not a combat model. She is only meant to take down other androids. That's it. She was never built to take down machines, and her mechanics reflect that.
Yeah, that's one of those little storytelling things that can't really be brought over.
Hell, 9S was doing most of the heavy lifting in Route A by hacking the androids.
Yeah, I loved that because it was for most of Route A. I was like, what the hell is 9S doing? He's just standing around.
He was
and then
doing
you play
everything.
as 9S and you're like, oh shit, 9S is doing most of the work here. A2 inherits the memories and skill set of 2B. So in a way, this entire story has really just been the setup for having these two, do we want to call them friends? Do we want to call them lovers? What are we shipping here?
This is weird because this is something I was thinking about of would I call it a romantic interest? Would I?
Well, 9S is definitely attracted to some part
Let's
of 2B.
talk about robot emotions for a second. Androids clearly love, and they love each other. I would say that this is like a personal take, so don't fucking get on me for this. I think 9S clearly loves 2B.
Yeah.
In a sexual way. Clearly.
And 2B clearly loves 9S in a I've had to kill this kid like a million
I have
times.
had I love this person and I loved this person and I have loved iterations of this person. It may not even be a sexual love. It may not even
seem like it. Honestly,
because
every scene that they have,
it is a personal love.
Yeah, it never seems like it. Well,
they are
9S is much more
family.
blatantly.
They are like a brother. They are an incestuous brother and a sister.
Wow, another recurring theme in the Nier Drakengard series.
Actually, yes, completely. I believe that part is intentional. They are a family who has been stricken by grief 14 times, and only one person is noted. That love that 9S feels is not reciprocated in the way he wants.
And that's part of why he gets so frustrated.
This is another thing I was thinking about. I saw a dumb woke take on Nier that was essentially like 9S is bad because he is like, you know how in some games and movies and shit there's like the entitled male character but they like deal with it the wrong way?
Yeah.
9S is owed some shit at this point. He is owed answers and reciprocation, and all of his actions, if uncomfortable to observe, are completely justified.
Well, every time that he gets close to some sort of answer, I mean, there's a reason why.
It is ripped away. This is a person who cannot find closure in any sense.
And that's why it's kind of tragic that this whole plot, it's essentially setting these two apart after putting them together.
Here's the thing. Go back and watch the ending of where 9S and A2 fight and 9S dies. When 9S falls on that sword, look at his legs. That was deliberate.
Yeah.
9S has wanted to die for a very long time. 9S wanted to die without a black box. 9S wanted to die without a backup. 9S wanted to die without a bunker that was there to save him and call him back and keep putting him through this fucking hell. That's all he wanted. And he got that. That's another thing I fucking love about this game. Any other fucking some Life is Strange bullshit would be if like one of the fucking lame ass girls like committed suicide and then someone fucking, I don't know, jumped into their brain and said like, don't do it, it's bad. No, Yoko Taro doesn't take the easy way out. Yoko Taro doesn't say, no, you're special and belong. There's a character who just wants to go and who gets to go.
It's
and there's
definitely
something
not
about
hand-holding. It's definitely not
comforting. It is a good, when you get to even though that's not the true ending.
Yeah.
That's not the true ending. It is an unequivocally good thing that 9S died and got his closure and got his answer and above all else, got his happiness, right? Like narratives don't do that anymore. Games don't do that.
So speaking of fucking depressing, how about Pascal?
Fuck, I cried.
Okay, so I have a little bit of an
What did you do?
I have a little bit of an anecdote because I wasn't sure what to do, and I was a good boy. I didn't look up what my choices even were.
No, I didn't either.
Right, so I was faced with the choice. For those of you, hopefully whoever's listening to this has played this fucking game, but for Pascal, when you get to that choice where it's like, oh, wipe her memory or don't wipe her memory.
Okay, actually, I'm gonna see. No, you used a pronoun there. You fucked up because you're gonna have to change the subject.
Shit.
No, here's another thing I fucking love. Androids, robots, genders. Do they actually make sense when you think about it? No. Why do these machines have genders? Why do these machines have big fucking absurdly gigantic asses? Like, why? Actually functionally, when you think about it, what is the actual point of having all of this extra bolted on, completely meaningless shit just strapped onto a body?
So
robot
9S
machines
can want to fuck.
So 9S can want to fuck. Easy answer. To feel human. To feel like something matters and that you're clinging to something. We are built in the image of God, right?
I mean, assuming, yeah.
No, okay, sure, yes, no. Biblically, we are built in the image of God.
Are you
if there is a God,
that we become as gods?
I'm suggesting we become as gods. If there is a God, presumably we look a lot like him.
Right. Unless we don't, then we're fucked.
Machine, right? Exactly. Yeah, we get up there and he looks like a crab. Like,
oh shit. There's just a tally mark for every piece of seafood you've eaten.
Yeah, but like the fucking machines, androids don't have a religion, or at least
that's the interesting part.
They don't have one that they call a religion, but they have a god.
Is that androids who are mimicking themselves deliberately after humans, right? And their whole society and culture is based around the humans' glory for mankind, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the machines, and the machines have never seen humans. They've never seen their own alien masters, really, right?
Yeah.
Or at least the generations that we're dealing with have never. And
if they did see them, they didn't matter either.
Right. But then they start just like very first thing in the game, they are displaying more human traits than you would expect. And that is not because they are
more human than the fucking robots who look like humans.
But that is not because they know human society. That is because they are mimicking android society, mimicking human society.
Yeah.
And that's where you get this weird incestuous cycle going on.
Yeah.
What I really like is that each sort of kingdom that you go to is basically just a different kind of society, different kind of civilization.
Yeah.
And it progresses as you go through it. You start out in the desert and it's all tribal. So of course you fight groups. Your first mission is to go around from group to group to group to fight them, right?
Right.
And then you get to the carnival and it's like hedonism. Everybody just wants to have fun. So then because you're a fucking dipshit and you don't realize that none of them are going to attack you, you kill all of them to get fucking bits and money.
Yeah, I need my bits, dude.
But then, like, right after the carnival's like sort of hedonistic thing, you get Pascal's pacifism. You have the Forest Kingdom being an obvious like monarchy, the Factory being a theocracy. Each one is
the Factory being a theocracy. A week before, the Factory was a straight up like Marxist Leninist working class institution where they were building a war machine for presumably something.
It's great, but you see this sort of progression, and you see it in the way that enemies are grouped, even in each different level. It's interesting to see the game kind of reflect the philosophy in each one of these. I mean, obviously, you know, some go deeper than others, but
naturally,
the return to the Factory, I think, is the highlight of all of these. We Become as Gods is one of my favorite tracks in the game.
Yeah, I am a personal sucker for Adam and Eve's like fight theme, the one that sounds like African chanting.
Yeah.
I will listen to that regularly.
Yeah, the soundtrack's amazing. The soundtrack.
Here's the thing, like I'm at a loss for words to describe it because it is like these dead languages, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's dead languages that are in the future. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
is the fact that like they went through the effort. Imagine what does French sound like in the year 4000 when humans are gone, but their legacies are not. Their legacies are persistent, but they need to speak. All right, like what does that sound like?
Yeah, and so getting back to Pascal, because we got away for it for a while. What happened when I came to that choice of like kill me or erase my memories, right?
I walked. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was an option though. I was like, okay, I'm gonna save the game, and maybe if I fuck up real bad, I can save Pascal. But I didn't realize that by walking towards the nearest save point, I would actually have just.
Here's the thing. I saved Pascal by walking out. I don't know if I made the right. Pascal is the most human character in that game. I couldn't do it, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't kill what was effectively like the last human.
Yeah, and I mean that's the ultimate tragedy. Especially, it gives you that fantastic moment right before you're coming off of the fucking hype. You're like, oh yeah, Pascal's great. Pascal just went in this little like flying machine and
Pascal fucked up.
Fucking kicked in the shit of everything and anyone.
Pascal is a Gurren Lagann moment.
And then you get back down on the ground and it's
it's silent and you have to make the long walk back to that door.
Yeah.
And that is a very hard walk to
and
make.
You realize like, oh no, even though Pascal had that moment, that like,
Pascal's
awesome
pacifism
moment,
engendered a passivity in the children that made them unable to comprehend what was coming for them.
Yeah, and it ultimately led to their death, and it's probably that is up there for like saddest moment in the game, if not just absolutely.
Yeah, if not absolutely the saddest. I was like a wreck after I had to take a break.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy, what next?
Let's move it into the ending again. The final part. After you've done awesome boss fight, after literally you have a boss fight that's like, look at 9S and A2 working together and overcoming their differences, only to then have the very next scene be now they're going to kill each other. Then we get to the ending that I haven't seen anything else like this in any other video game.
Ever.
Ending E. Ending E is one of the most powerful moments I've had watching text scroll up on the screen.
So when did you realize what was happening? Was it when it popped up and it was talking, or was it when the messages came up? Because when the messages came up, I'm going to get emotional and personal again, but it's Nier so I can justify it.
Yeah.
I was going through a real rough time. I was stressed out about my classes. I was stressed out about some family shit. I had a lot going on. I was scared and alone and anxious, and I was a wreck. And it is 4 a.m, and the music comes on in crescendos, and I get a message from someone in America who goes, you can do it. I'm proud of you. I believe in you. And I want you to succeed. And tears come streaming down my fucking face.
Yeah, once you realize that all of those messages are
They gave it all up just so you could see it.
And I think what's amazing is that not only are all those messages real people that were playing this game, right? Out of all the messages that I saw, none of them were negative. None of them
not a
were
single
like
one. You can leave negative messages.
Jokes. You have the plenty of option to literally say this game is garbage, or say I want to screw 2B, right? You have plenty of options. Every single message that I saw displayed on the screen that was from another living person was literally cheering me on to the end.
Not only cheering you on, I couldn't do it. Let's say I had it hypothetically, like I had something to do, or like I had to go. I wouldn't have been able to move from it. I wouldn't have been able to. Part of it is also just the fucking crazy, I don't know I'm getting lightheaded thinking about it. I am going to recount an honest experience of ending of Nier Automata. I will say it now. Nier Automata is the best video game I've ever played in my entire life. Put it on the record. Better than Donkey Kong Country 2.
Better than Super Mario Brothers 2.
Better than Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days. Nier Automata made me cry. I will admit, I am a somewhat emotionally sensitive person. I can and will tear up at media. I will say it happens like 3 times a year. I have never bawled at a piece of media before. I have never finished experiencing something and then went out and then what I did with Nier, I do not expect I will ever do with another piece of media in my entire life. I finished the game at 4 a.m. I walked outside. I walked out my front door and I kneeled on my lawn with tears streaming down my face and I just fell over. And I was just outside on the ground for like an hour, just thinking about what just happened and what it meant to me and how happy I was and how sad I was and what I thought happened. And I went back inside and I wrote a Google Doc. There was just my thoughts on what happened. I've never done that before. Nothing I've played has ever gotten such an emotional response out of it. I think even me describing this, the emotions that I feel right now, is selling it short. A comparison. So in Gurren Lagann, like episode 24 or whatever, when it has everyone rising out of the spiral sea, basically it is everybody overcoming their adversities together. Like it is inspiring. It is, for lack of a better word, just fucking awe-inspiring. That is the most emotional I've ever been while playing a game, is having everyone there as Yoko Taro and Platinum Games are yelling, "You can do it, I believe in you, please succeed."
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was beyond words. It is an experience.
And when the music swells up too.
Yeah.
So then you get the little cutscene at the end, and the pods have put everybody back together.
And the game goes, this could all happen again. There is
it is literally saying on a meta level, yeah, you've just reset your file. Everything that you have done, if you play this again, if you do this game again, it's just going to happen in the same way.
Yeah.
But do you at least feel better knowing that,
knowing that things can change, knowing that you can make a difference, that you can leave an impact, that you can just grab hold of destiny or fate or whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever this dumb bullshit is that makes us do shit, and just change it. That is so fucking powerful.
And that's Nier Automata in a nutshell.
It is the most fucking emotional I've ever gotten while playing a game. It is the most emotional I think I'll ever be while playing a game.
Until
at least
Nier Automata 2.
Until Nier Automata, Den of Shadows.
I guess, should that be what we end on?
The fact that I went to a panel at PAX where Yoko Taro said that he was going to make another game because Nier Automata just shipped 5 million units.
Where the franchise is going to go for now, because with Yoko Taro games, I would be surprised if he made a straight up fucking Nier Automata 2.
Well, there's the Crusades in the Nier lore, which are, I don't even know it. I'm going to have a stroke talking about this. A bunch of fucking high schoolers in Crusader armor ended up fighting a bunch of shadow shades in a bunch of high schools and cordoned off infected districts. The fact that the real Crusades happened twice, but with shadows and high schoolers in the Nier timeline, you could do that. He's talking about wanting to do that. He could just go 20,000 years in the future. If he went to an alien fucking planet, if he went to Mars, if we follow that arc that takes off, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't complain whatever he did.
I think the only thing that I would expect is completely unexpected, because if you look at least even Drakengard, every single one in the series just is I guess 2 is the outlier, but that's because of production and shit, right?
3 gets fucked up enough in the way it jumps around time that it almost...
No, but I mean forget about all that before it. We're starting a new thing here. We have a new cast of characters, a new setting and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I would be surprised if it was just a sequel.
Is Nier just a sequel to Drakengard 1? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck no.
I would be expecting something more along the shift between Nier and Nier Automata for another Nier, right?
You asked me where this series, this narrative could even go. I don't think I could answer that question for you. I don't
to the Nier remaster.
God fucking willing, right?
Yeah.
That's a game that could use a fresh coat of paint. I like Nier. I don't like beating up wolves 2 hours.
So I think this is where we're going to end it here.
It's the best game ever. It's the best game ever made.
What's your rating out of 10?
Easy answer is I would say 10. But
now that was your rating for Super Mario Brothers 2. What's your rating for Nier Automata?
Super Mario Brothers 2 isn't a fucking. That game sucks. That game is fucking terrible. I know this about Nier. I really hate Super Mario. This is not a good video
I
game.
think you mean Doki Doki Panic.
That wasn't good when it was that either. It's not fun. I don't like picking shit up out of the ground.
Nier originally was a game called Doki Doki Nier.
Doki Doki Panic, and it was It was weird because like that's where Yoko Taro got the different ideas for characters, because he saw that like Mario was like well rounded, and then Luigi could jump higher, but he was a bit floatier, and that Toad was good at grabbing shit but also retarded. And he was like, what if I made a bunch of characters who could do shit different?
I like that your only definition for Toad is he's good at grabbing but is retarded.
What? How would you describe him? Motherfucker can't jump.
He's the Toad Warrior.
That's a really fucked up reference. I hope you cut from this video. Please no Super Mario Brothers Super Show references in your videos, please.
That's what we're ending it on. Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah, and how about you have the clip where like the car pulls up behind Toad and he's wearing sunglasses and fucking see.
All right, everybody, go watch the cutscenes for Nier Automata.